Are you an Amazon seller that's been curious about protecting your branded searches but don't know how to find branded keywords? Well, today I'm going to show you 3 sources for finding branded keywords that are going to help you maintain your sales and protect your brand. Welcome to the Sunken Stone channel, where we share tips, tricks, and tutorials on how to grow your Amazon sales. We're always coming up with new stuff, always showing you better ways to hack the Amazon system. So if you like our content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It really helps us out, and you'll be getting a lot of good content in return. So not much to lose there. So let's talk about branded keywords. So we are here on an Amazon search query. We're looking at Nike running shoes, and the first thing you see are not Nike running shoes. It's this store, Yogo, which I'm guessing is just like a Amazon only brand. There are a lot of those, but they're currently taking the top spot. You don't necessarily see prices because this is a store ad, but it makes a pretty compelling case for itself. These are pretty good looking products. They match sort of the crazy Nike aesthetic. And then here we have this search ad, which $40, pretty good video, and it makes a pretty compelling case for itself against these other Nike products here that are like $100. You know, less than half the price, seem to do a pretty good job. You know, you're actually going to lose a lot of customers that way, especially these days. Customers are less brand loyal than they were in the past, so don't feel like you have a sure bet with your customers just because they're searching your brand terms. If somebody makes another compelling argument against your brand, like with price or features or anything like that, you may lose them. And the worst part is you could have generated, like if you're running Facebook ads, they search your brand through because they clicked on the Facebook ad and didn't buy. You could be paying for advertisements that come to Amazon and then you lose them. So you're paying for them to end up searching your brand term and then they go to somebody else's. So frustrating thing you do not want to have happen. So branded keywords are important. Hopefully I've convinced you to leverage them. So how do you find branded keywords? Well, I'll show you. So we're going back to Ship Quick, the example I use all the time. It's not a product that's currently running, so some of these things are going to look a little bit sparse, but if you do this, you'll yield great results. So don't be surprised by the few results I'm getting. This is going to be really helpful for you, especially if you have a brand that's not, like, if you generate a decent amount of sales, even 25% and up from your e-commerce store or your other sort of selling platforms, you could potentially be missing out on a lot of sales because you're not targeting your branded keywords right. So especially if you have a really good, say, Shopify store, you have a good social media presence that drives traffic there, you have some influencers you work with, you want to make sure you capture all that. So here for ShipQuick, the easiest way to do this is in Magnet, the Helium 10 tool. I use Helium 10 a lot. It's my favorite. There are other tools similar to this that is just you put in a keyword, it gives you a list of keywords. As long as it has the ability to filter, then you're going to be doing all right. So here we have the brand ShipQuick. So I searched it, and then so I'm going to move through this quickly. If you have any questions about sort of the content I'm talking about, please drop a comment. I answer pretty much every single comment. I don't think I've missed one. So I will clarify this more if need be. But right now I am including phrases that include ship and quick. So the reason I'm doing this is because it just casts a wider net. So if you're, let's say you are a supplement company called Peterson Naturals, that, like natural Peterson supplements, something like that might be like technically a branded term. So instead of doing ship quick, I do ship quick, just to cast a wider net. Alternatively, if you're trying to get misspellings, like if people are spelling Peterson wrong, you could just try like contains Peter and then just see if that'll work. So there are other ways that you can do this type of experiment with, like not just putting in the exact brand name to cast a wider net. But in this example, I'm showing you this because ship and quick are both pretty common words. If your brand is something like Pure Naturals Supplements, if you're looking for just keywords that contain pure and naturals, you could end up actually targeting non-branded keywords, and then your ACOS is going to go really high because you want to target your branded keywords really aggressively. So that was the short version. If you have any more questions about what I talked about, please drop it in the comments. So when I type in ship, quick, it shows me everything related to the query ship quick that contains both the words ship and quick. So quality quick ship store, these are both not branding keywords for us. So I would venture to guess that this sort of two-stage way I did it right now is not going to be very effective because we're not necessarily getting just branding keywords. So instead, I said show phrases that contain ship quick. So right now we've got just ship quick and then ship quick polymailer. So you can grab both of these, put it in a clipboard, and then I just open an Excel sheet. I'm attaching this to the search term report. I'm doing it in kind of a lazy way. Hopefully you save it in a more formal organization structure, but you can just drop those two, say branded keywords. I can spell, I promise. So you just type in branded keywords, and then you're gonna be putting all of your branded keywords here. You're gonna create a combined list, and then hopefully save it in a formal keyword research organization structure, which you should have if you're gonna do this at scale or really seriously at all. So we have that. Normally Magnet gets you pretty good results. So the fact that these are sparse is more to do with the fact that we haven't been running this. If you have any sort of modern social media presence, you're probably going to have a lot of different terms that are going to come up here, and they're all going to be good to capture. So that's method one. Method two, use your search term report. I use the search term report a lot. I talk a lot about it, and it's because it's very valuable. You need to be looking at the search term report a lot. So here is a version where I stripped out all the campaign, ad group, and targeting. But here I put some example search terms, just they're fake ones, but they illustrate a good point. So we have ship quick envelope, packaging ship quick, some random. So right now, really quick, I'm sorting by ACOS descending. The reason I'm doing that is because typically with your brand terms, especially random brand misspellings, which are going to be really valuable for you, not a lot of people are going to be bidding on them. They're not going to be as popular as some of the other non-brand terms. So your ACOS is going to be really low because not only that's generally what people are searching, your conversion rate is going to be high, your click-through rate or your CPC is going to be low. So those two things together produce a really low ACOS. If you search by that, you'll pretty much find all your branded terms. So scrolling through this, I find this polymailer ship quick. So quick is misspelled, but you can make the assumption that they're looking for my brand, they just misspelled it. So for a lot of harder to spell brands, you get into situations where it's people are going to misspell it a lot. And if you get all those random misspellings, you're going to protect your brand from somebody who potentially you could do this to a customer or a competitor even. If you know your competitor has a hard to spell brand, you could go find their misspelling competitor terms and you might get really low CPCs on that. So little tiny hack for you. That's a good way to gain really cheap sales. If you know you have a competitor who's not really being quick with the branded ads, you can steal their misspellings. So in this example, if I would have filtered customer search term by contain ship quick, I would have missed this misspelling. So doing the ACOS descending way is a good way to find all these little random misspellings, or maybe this was ship quick one word. You would have missed that if you would have added a space. So go ahead and you can just use control to grab all these. You can command C it, move it over here, command V. There you go. So all those new keywords in there, find them through the search term report, either by filtering this customer search term by contains your brand name, or just doing an ACOS descending and finding if you can't see any random misspellings. So the last way to generate branded search terms is to use the suggested keywords. So when you're on the campaign, you're within the ad group looking at targeting, go to add keywords and there'll just be this little suggested section. So I like to filter by exact just because this is a performance campaign. So scrolling through here, I'm just looking for ship quick and I found it. So ship quick. We already have that. Gonna scroll a little bit longer. So quick ship and ship quick, both one word. So if we're ever curious, we can always go in here and type quick ship, one word. Not really see any competitors or anything containing the word quick ship. So it's possible that they were actually looking for our brand, they just got the order wrong. So I'd consider quick ship to be a branded keyword. How wide of a net you say like this is a branded keyword and this isn't a branded keyword, totally up to you. You just need to understand your brand. And if you're ever in doubt, just search it on Amazon and then you'll get a good idea if like it actually is. Like, let's say there was a competitor shipping company named Quick Ship. We might not target those keywords as much because the customers might not necessarily be looking for our product. So keep in mind that there are Amazon sellers that are shisty. They'll copy flagrantly what you're doing. So you need to be careful as to what you consider a branded keyword and what you don't. So in this situation, I'm considering it. I'm keeping Quick Ship. I'm gonna go back to my sheet, Quick Ship, and ship quick, one word. So this list, while short, I want this to be a short video that you'll actually watch. But you could copy these keywords, create a new campaign. I just go product group -sp -brand as the branded campaign. I like to do an exact match ad group and a phrase match ad group just to cast a really wide net. But copy all these, put them alone in a campaign, and then what I do is on my performance campaign, all my other non-brands, I'll add these as negative exacts. And the reason being is because it's really helpful to see at a campaign level what kind of, so like here we have this, if this was 47% ACOS, but we're bidding on random branded terms, the true non-brand ACOS could be closer to 60 and you wouldn't know it because you're getting random branded sales. So I like to separate the branded keywords out completely and then have them in their own campaign just so that you can see how well the branded is doing and truly how well your non-brand is doing by stripping out all those branded keywords. Well, I hope that video was helpful for everyone. If you want to know more about campaign types and how we set up our ads, check out the Amazon advertising hierarchy in the description. It's really helpful. It's a great reference guide for creating campaigns. If you're going to redo your campaign setup or if you're setting up campaigns for the first time, there's the branded campaigns in there, so making it easy for you. If you want more tips on how to reduce your ACOS, check out this video. It's our 7 tips to reduce campaign-wide ACOS. Really helpful stuff. You could be saving thousands of dollars just from that video view alone. And with that, happy optimizing, everyone.